Ayse Hogan, and thank you for coming out to this episode of the Chakra House of Healing. Today we have the pleasure of having Barbara Ptak from Wellness Balancing, who is going to be talking about a wonderful healing that she does called Soul Genesis. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Ayse.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
It's taken us forever to get you on the show.
I know.
She's such a busy woman, you know. So, what is Soul Genesis? First, let's just sort of understand what Soul Genesis is.
Everyone is studying their spirituality.
Yes.
We all want to know who we are. We have a soul. We have a purpose and a path. And
why am I here?
And why am I here?
Right.
What am I here to do? With the Soul Genesis, it helps you to understand who you are at that core level, at that true essence of yourself. It opens that window of understanding why you might be drawn to certain people, why you have patterns in your life, why you might be interested in certain jobs, or you're passionate about things. And with the Soul Genesis, it accesses your Akashic records. It taps into that knowledge that you've been carrying for many lifetimes.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you for a second. And what are the Akashic records?
The Akashic records. It is known through many cultures. It might be known as the Book of Records, the Tree of Life, the Kabbalah studies it. And what that is every aspect of you, every word you've spoken, every word spoken to you, every experience you've ever had is recorded in the Akashic records.
Right.
So it is knowledge of you from many lifetimes.
Yes.
And so what better way to find out who you are and what you're about is by using that knowledge. It's in you already.
Right.
You have that. And so why not tap into it?
I love the Akashic records. I see it as one of those really old libraries. You know those libraries where it goes right up to the ceiling, and you need those stairs to kind of climb up and move across.
And that's actually when I go into a person's Akashic records. That's part of my visualization. I kind of see myself walking down that hallway, pulling down the books of the volumes,
blowing the smoke, the dust off the books,
and opening it up and saying, okay, what is in this volume today that we need to know? Right? And it's ancient.
So how do you do Soul Genesis?
So again, like I said, I use the Akashic records. I tap into that information. The soul has to be on board. I have to get permission from your soul. So you and I could be setting up a session, and you say that you would like to have a reading, but when I go to do the work, it might say, not today. And I have to honor that. So it's always on your getting the information from the conscious, the unconscious, and the soul level.
Right.
And so then I can access the information. Okay.
And usually the soul says yes.
Usually the soul says yes.
Because by the time you come to someone like yourself,
absolutely,
or even to me or any other holistic healer, you're usually at the point where you really want
to know.
To know.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
So what can a person expect, and how can they prepare for a Soul Genesis session with you?
So to prepare, what I need to get into the Akashic records is your legal name, your birth date, your address, because there might be two people with the same name, but they might not be born on the same day, and they won't be living under the same address.
Right, okay.
So I have to get some specific information.
Okay.
And that way I can access the Akashic records. And then for the client, I get that information, I prepare the reading.
Right.
I get the information, I call you. We can do it through Skype or phone, which is wonderful. And
I already know this because you did one for me.
Yes, I did. And so then I give you the information that I have garnered through the Akashic records. So I will find out things about your soul profile. What is your soul tribe? What is the group that you belong to? And there will be unique characteristics and very specific. And when I explain this to a client like yourself, you go, that is me, yes. And there will be things like your angelic realm that perhaps you are affiliated with. What does that mean to you? The house of, which is the time of history that you walked the earth, that you have now taken into this lifetime, that gives you your world view.
Right.
So, for instance, white buffalo. I had a client who always in the springtime felt that she had to start new, tear everything down. She felt very nomadic. And when I went, well, you're a white buffalo house of, it makes sense. What are they? They migrate.
Okay.
They're foraging in the springtime.
The nomads.
They want to
on.
start new, right? And that information allowed her to understand
and accept
and say, oh, that's part of me, who I am at a very core level. And so she can be prepared in the springtime. It can give her the information then to say, do I need to follow this, or can I just work in some of the aspects?
Right.
It really helps you to make decisions and live your life from a very conscious way.
Because you still have freedom of choice. You can still change the future.
Absolutely.
Right.
But when we have that knowledge, it's like, wow, this makes sense. This is who I am.
Right.
Truly at the core.
I know, because when we had the session, you did make some sense for me out of you dotted a lot of I's and crossed a lot of T's for me. So it was really great, because there was a few questions that and you even mentioned things that I hadn't even thought of, but I had that moment that went, oh my God, she's right. And I never even thought about it. And that totally sort of took those puzzle pieces and kind of a few more went click, click, click. Like they just kind of went into place.
And once you become aware of something, even if you don't think of it again, it's been set in your unconscious mind, so that when you go forward in your life, you're making your decisions from a different perspective. Right?
Yep.
And it makes sense.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we've talked a little bit already about the benefits of soul genesis. Is there anything else you'd like to add to what we've said so far?
Well, with a reading, you're really covering areas in your life that there's 5 areas.
Right.
So, are you being guided with good information?
Right.
So, what happens when we access the soul genesis reading? We want to find out if there's anything that is keeping you from getting the information from your soul. Is there a disruptive energy? Is there something in your past that is causing chaos in your life, so that you're not able to tap into that core information? And one of those times might be if your guides are not working in your highest interest. And that might be because they have come in, you've invited them in at a specific time in your life, and perhaps you don't need them anymore, or they came in working in a certain area and now you need to amp it up a bit.
Which is something that happened with me, right?
Absolutely.
Because there was a time in my life where I'd asked for a specific kind of help, and you found 3 guides that were not at all working in my best interest.
That's right. And the areas, when I say to people, I'll say, okay, I'll find the areas would be like finance, intimate relationships, fun and friendships, health, career. And then when I say, oh, guides are, we need to work with some new guides in this area, and someone will say, I've been having health issues for a whole year and can't get to the bottom of it. And that might have been one of the areas that they needed to have a change.
Right.
And that's so, people don't realize that we can often ask for new help.
So just so people can understand, how can you call in a guide? So we're saying that, so somebody might be sitting there, how would I even call in a guide?
Well, this is where in the Soul Genesis reading, I would be finding that information
originally, though, so where you might be just saying, I wish I had this, can I get some help with this?
Right?
Well,
and that's kind of what you do.
Right.
We, often in our early teens or in our formative years, we're going through such chaos, and that's when we're asking for help. That's when our vulnerability is there, and that we might not be, our vibration may not be that high.
Right.
And so we're matching vibrations. So we've matched to a guide that is coming in at that time, but then as we grow and change, our vibration does too. So it makes sense that we need to bring in a higher vibrational guide. And so it is during a time of chaos that we often ask for help.
And is there such a thing, it just sort of occurred to me to ask you this, is there such a thing like a trickster guide, like not one that's ever came in for your best intention?
We can have, and that would be when we don't have shields to protect us.
Okay.
And that can happen through times where we have a shield that protects our soul can never be damaged, or we are pure and can never go wrong. However, we can have things that can go around it that like a negative energy or a contract, a soul contract, that keeps us from getting that information from our soul. And that is where the guide might come in, where it may have said to us, just, I can help you, but you need to let down your shields. And so we do. And
Right.
then what happens is we've got this contract and we go forward in our life, and then we wonder why things are not happening the way we want them to, or why we feel so chaotic or
Right.
sad about things. And we find out that in this area of life, we've made we've allowed this to happen.
Almost like a deal with the devil.
Well,
Sort of, kind of.
well, but on an unconscious level,
Yep.
it is you've on a past life you could have agreed to help someone or
Right.
something, and then not have severed it, and that's why people often feel tired or confused, because there's some energy being siphoned off of them.
Right.
Through this.
Okay, we're going to get back to this. I just have to head to a Zen break.
Hi, this is Tarek Sitar, Director of the Ontario Hypnosis Centre, here with you for a quick Zen break. Now, you may have heard of Breath of Fire, but if you haven't, it's very easy to find a lot of information online about this very powerful breathing technique. I just wanted to share with you today a simple method of how you can allow yourself to perform the Breath of Fire. When you wake up in the morning, it's a great little exercise to do to energize your body and to give your mind the focus you need for the day. It might be helpful to simply place your feet firmly on the ground, place your hands right on your solar plexus region, and the Breath of Fire is all about very quick but powerful short exhalations. So you take a deep breath in and you exhale. It's a pumping motion using the muscles of your abdomen. And so as you push in to expel the breath, the abdomen naturally goes back out and it sucks in the air. So you're not breathing, but you're using the natural reflex mechanism of your breathing apparatus to push and pull air in and out of your body. If you're able to do this for 10 to 15 minutes a day, starting your day, you'll have abundant energy throughout the day. Start small, maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and build your way up to longer lengths of practice. Enjoy, and if you have any questions, please feel free to check us out online, email us, call us. Any questions, we're happy to help in any way we can.
Hi, welcome back to the Chakra House of Healing. I hope you enjoyed that Zen break. So before we went to break, we were talking about a soul contract, okay, which probably has a lot of viewers going, huh? So what exactly is a soul contract?
It is an agreement between two souls that will help. It's having them, in order for our soul to experience certain things,
Right.
in order for us to have an aspect of our soul to be realized, we might make a contract with someone to say, you're going to help me do that.
Okay.
Just like on a physical,
Right.
I'm here to help you promote the Chakra House of Healing's viewers. You're here to help me talk about soul genesis.
Right.
On a soul contract, though, it could be that in a relationship, you're going to come into my life to help me really learn about myself, and that might be, I might be learning about patience. I
Right.
might be learning about strength of character. So it's a contract that people will have that come together. Every person you meet has a contract with you.
Okay.
Even the person in the grocery store for a moment will have that contract. Some are long, some are short, but you've come together. It's not random. We're not living here on this planet as a random thing.
Right.
Everything is so divinely planned,
It
even
is.
to the people who come across. So that is why everyone who comes into our life is coming to us for a reason, to help us explore more about who we are,
Okay.
and why we're here. And that will lead to, whether it's through our path, our purpose, and that's where the Soul Genesis helps us to understand more about us, helps us to understand that you have training on the other side. You did not come to this planet just without any knowledge. You actually have aspects about yourself that you've been trained in a certain way that brings you to this type of work.
Right.
right? And so that's the beauty, is when you can understand that, everything makes better sense.
Right.
We're all going through life where we're standing in a doorway trying to go on to have a transformation. And with the soul genesis, what happens is we might be feeling like we're stuck. We might be feel like our wheels are spinning, and that's a really good time to know that you need to have a reading done, is because nothing is going the way you think it should be,
right.
or you're finding you can't put your finger on it, but there's something missing.
Something's wrong.
And
right.
when you go through a reading and a clearing, and that's the beauty of the soul genesis. It's not just about the reading, but everything. I can clear the energies that will help you go through that doorway, that helps you able to navigate life with a bit more grace and ease, especially through challenging times. I've been having this work done for over 11 years. This year has probably been the most challenging of my lifetime. And everybody says to me, how are you coping? How are you able to navigate this? And I keep saying it's the soul genesis work, because every time I find myself questioning or having some kind of chaos, I get a clearing, and I'm able to navigate. It just clears the way for me to go on. Yes, life may still be challenging, but it's done with grace and ease. So it's a powerful.
Which you have handled. Like, I'm aware of what you've been going through, and every time I run into you, I'm like, she's so calm. Everything is so great.
It's the soul genesis.
So you have a promotion for our viewers.
I do. If the viewers would like to go to my website, wellnessbalancing.com, there is they can get a free consultation, a 15-minute consultation, where we can talk a little bit, and I'll give them a little glimpse of what their soul is about. And that's always exciting, because people go, oh, that's so interesting. And then they can book a session with me. And like I say, I do it through Skype or phone, so anybody across the planet can get a soul genesis reading done. And I can come to you via energy knows no boundaries or distance.
That's absolutely
so
correct.
you can work it through the Skype and phone, and you can have it from the comforts of your home.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So through your soul genesis, if I was to say to you, this is a question I seem to be wanting to ask everybody all the time. If you made a significant change in someone's life, can you tell us a little bit about where you did some work with someone, without names or details, where it really did something wonderful for them?
I think recently I worked with a woman who had situations in the past where she had been almost bullied within a workplace situation. And it seemed that experience that carried on in all her going forward. Not always was she bullied in every scenario, but that certain aspects would come up. We were able to go in and pinpoint what had happened and what kind of a contract she had and what kind of energy was not being of her best interest.
Right.
And clearing that. And she was so amazed, because she was starting back to work after being off for a while, and she was so thankful, because it made her be able to go in with a whole different perspective. And that's one of the things with the soul genesis. It can clear some of the perspective lens that we have of the world and help us to view it in a different way, because that energy is no longer harming us or attacking us or feeding off of us.
Right.
Right? And so we can look at the world through new eyes. And I think that in this time and age, we really need to we know that we have this knowledge, but what a great way when we can access it and say, hey, I really am on the right path. I really am doing my purpose of what I was sent here to do.
And it's all within us. We just don't even,
Absolutely.
Most of the population walks around not even knowing that information is all within us.
So it's always, for soul genesis, for me, it's about living your life in a conscious way, really, truly in a conscious way.
It's amazing. Thank you, Barbara, for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
And I can go on and on talking to you. I think you're fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks again for coming out to the Chakra House of Healing and sharing information about Soul Genesis. And if you have any questions, please contact myself. You can contact Barbara at her website. I'd like to thank the sponsors of the Chakra House of Healing. You can watch the show on YouTube, on Vimeo, on the Big Book of Beauty, and on Health Local. And if you have any questions, any comments, if there's any modalities, anything about holistic healing that you want to know about, please send me your questions and I will do my very best to get back to you. And if you're a healer and you'd like to be on the show, please contact me at thechakrahouseofhealing.com. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great evening. Have a great day. Namaste.